More than 1.2 million people die each year in road crashes globally, and between 20 and 50 million more suffer severe injuries with long-term disabilities. In Africa, the situation is even more alarming. Between 2010 and 2021, road-related deaths on the continent rose by 17%, and in 2021 alone, about 250,000 lives were lost on the continent's roads. Unfortunately, road crashes have become the leading cause of death for children and young adults between the ages of 5 and 29. Joining us on the program today is Todt, a highly respected personality in the world of motorsport and global road safety advocacy. He is best known for his role as the president of the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, FIA, from 2009 to 2021, where he played a significant role in shaping the future of motor racing. Earlier in his career, he served as general manager at Ferrari, where he led the team to multiple Formula One championships. In 2015, Todt took on a new challenge as the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy for Road Safety. Since then, he's been devoted to advocating for safer roads, particularly in Africa, and has leveraged his global influence to drive meaningful improvements in transportation safety worldwide. Now, beyond the deplorable and tragic loss of life, road crashes have significant economic impacts, costing countries large portions of their GDP and trillions of dollars globally.
It's a burden for the victims, of course, family, surrounding, but also for the whole country. The evaluation globally by the World Bank is that road crashes every year cost to the society close to $2 trillion. In Africa, it's between 4 to 5% of the GDP.
It is an unfortunate and a pretty dire situation. In fact, Todt calls it the silent pandemic.
You know, I call road traffic crashes, I call that a silent pandemic, because everybody is under this threat, and nobody thinks that it will occur until it does occur. I've been witnessing amazing situation going in low or middle income countries where there is a very poor public transportation. You have 3, 4, 5 people on a motorbike. Most of them, they don't have a helmet, but if they will have a helmet, it is a helmet which is not protecting their head really, it looks like, but most of them, they don't have the proper UN standards. That's why I have this helmet here, because this helmet we developed with UN 2206 standard regulations, ventilated, low cost, below $20 US. In a way, I call that a vaccine. Going back to 4 or 5 people on a motorbike without helmet, most of them they had a mask. Why? Because they were scared to die because of COVID, but they had no any scare about being in a whole motorbike overloaded. Unfortunately, Africa is the most vulnerable part in the world where
Why is it so?
Countries are quite poor, people are not educated, the roads, lightning in the cities, enforcement, you don't have any pass cross, which people are respecting. We'll give you the link to see a little film of 3 minutes which shows the fight for children to go several times every day from one side of the road to the other side of the road. Right. It's a fight, right. You know, and unfortunately, you know, it's like a lottery. Some cross.
Some don't make it.
Some will not make it.
What's the solution?
The good news is that we have the prescriptions. It's around education, law enforcement, quality of vehicles, quality of roads, quality of post-crash cares. You need to educate a young generation. You need to educate, and by educating them, they will perform immediately because they will be influencers to their parents, to their relatives. And in 10 years' time, when they will have access to the driving license, hopefully a real driving license, because now, unfortunately, very often you get your driving license without learning how to use your car or your motorbike. So again, education. Then law enforcement. You know, life is about discipline.
Right.
If you are not disciplined in life, you cannot succeed. And unfortunately, road users are not disciplined enough. So you need to enforce regulations. And of course, quality of cars. You know, in a country like Africa, I mean, most of the vehicles which are used are vehicles which are banned in developed world. Road infrastructure are poor, signage is not appropriate, and the level of post-crash care, which is essential. You know, between the moment you have an accident until the moment you arrive to the hospital is crucial. Each second is important. And here, most of the time, nothing will happen.
Why is this not given the desired, required attention it deserves, as important as it is?
You know, because people, it's what I was saying earlier with the people, why do they put the mask? Because they were scared to die because of COVID. Why they don't put helmet? Why they don't put safety belt? Why they don't respect the speed? Why they drink and they drive? Why they use their phone and they drive? Because they think that nothing will happen until it happens. Every day, 3,500 people leave home and will not come back home.
Do you think we would see any improvements by 2030?
I will not do as much as I do if I did not have some hopes, you know. But I mean, again, not alone. I'm a little, if I may say, added value on that. But we need to involve as many people as possible. We just launched a UN campaign together with JCDecaux, which is the #1 billboard company in the world, with 15 global celebrities in southern cities, 80 countries. I launched this campaign recently in Ivory Coast and in South Africa, and we will add in the campaign most of the gold medalists of the last Olympic and Paralympic game, because they are image, they are good influencers. So we want to use those people to influence what you need to do and what you should not do. Incidentally, road safety is part of SDG 3.6, to halve the number of victims by 2030. And another topic which is essential, particularly in Africa, is access to public transportation. You know, there is a very poor public transportation in a lot of cities in Africa. So we need to have access to public transportation. Not only in Africa, but also in Asia, in Latin America. You see people going to work in a completely inappropriate way.
What can institutions like the Economic Commission for Africa do to help?
Essential. ECA can do an absolutely fantastic job. First, by also helping government, by supporting, encouraging, claiming this silent pandemic. And of course, we have a lot of other agencies who have to be involved. WHO, UNICEF, UNESCO, UN Habitat, UNDP, UN Women. It's in a way, we are working all for United Nations. So we must be all united to address this pandemic like road crashes, which again can be avoided.
Now let's hear from an infrastructure expert at the Economic Commission for Africa, Robert Lisinge. He talked about the lack of fundamental road safety measures in many African countries, but also highlighted some of the work being done by the Commission to address the issue.
Road safety management remains a big challenge. Many countries struggle to coordinate among the stakeholders of road safety. There is big road safety financing challenge. many of these countries, data or research in road safety is also a big problem. That is why ECA is working with many countries on the continent, including Eswatini, the Gambia, to assist them to develop road safety strategies. And we're also working with these countries to help them strengthen road safety legislation and particularly enforcement of road safety regulations and standards. We also do believe that technology, innovation, digitalization can help tremendously in improving road safety in Africa, and that's why we are promoting digitalization of road safety. We do recognize that some African countries have made significant progress in road safety. That's why we're working with the UN Special Envoy for Road Safety, Todt, to recognize those countries that have made significant contribution to reducing road deaths in Africa. And that's why we are jointly implementing the Kofi Annan Road Safety Award.
One of such countries making commendable efforts in terms of road safety is Rwanda. So I'd like for you to tell me if there's any concrete example of some of the work you've done anywhere in Africa to salvage the situation.
The latest example will be in Rwanda. I remember going from Ghana to Cameroon, where the situation was very bad on the roads, and arriving in Rwanda. And suddenly you see police enforcement, you see traffic lights, you see motorbikes with drivers and passengers with a helmet, until I had a doubt about the quality of the helmet. So I took some helmets back to the laboratory in Europe, and as I thought, helmets were breaking like glass. So it's something I mentioned to President Kagame. And he said, if you come to Kigali, we will launch the new helmets. So I was there in March, April this year. What they do, they give a UN standard helmet against the old helmet. You know, sometimes it's very difficult to identify the result. But here it's clear. From one day to another one, the potential crash on a motorbike will be with a bad helmet or with a good helmet. With a bad helmet, we know the consequences are going to be very bad. My message, stop this carnage. We can do it. We do it for you, but we cannot do it without you.
So it's not just the leaders, it's everybody.
It would be unfair to give responsibility only to the leaders. The leaders, they have to take the initiative. But then, everybody has to obey. It had to be a combined effort to save lives on the roads.
Let's turn to Ghana, where one student is doing exactly what Jean Todt says we all must do. Fard Abubakari is a Ghanaian youth who's taking action to raise awareness and promote road safety in his community.
I educate the general public about the importance of road safety, the dangers involved, and also how to be very mindful when using the road. I educate schools, churches, mosques, drivers at lorry parks, passengers, and pedestrians as well. I engage pedestrians to inform them on where to cross on our roads, like using the footbridge, the zebra crossing, or crossing when the light turns red at a traffic light, things to wear when using a motorbike, and also using the seat belt, and also having a voice to speak up when a driver is driving recklessly on the road. Growing up, there are friends that I lost through accidents. So as a youth leader and a student in my community, I thought I had to use my voice to champion road safety advocacy. So the challenges that I have seen on our roads, it's not even getting involved in the accidents, but the kind of aid and help we give when someone is in that situation.
Mr. Abubakari told me that his efforts have caught the attention of the National Road Safety Authority, resulting in some broken traffic lights being fixed and road safety campaigns organized.
It is estimated that road safety receives 1,000 times less than other causes with a similar fatality rate like AIDS, tuberculosis or malaria.
Jean Todt's passion and commitment started long before his appointment as a UN Special Envoy. During his time as president of the FIA, that's the global body that governs motorsports, he made road safety a top priority. In 2011, he launched the FIA Action for Road Safety campaign, supporting the United Nations Decade of Action for Road Safety. What triggered this passion in you?
You know, I think in the life, if you have had a little success over average, I think it is important to give something back. So then you need to decide, where can I give something back? My life, my profession has been about racing, cars, circuits, rallying, you know, and it was dangerous. And we have been working very hard, and that I did in my different capacities to make motor racing safer. Motor racing is not only a show, it has to be a laboratory. Incidentally, this helmet was developed with engineers from Formula One and technicians from UNEC in Geneva. Teamwork, you know, let's work all together to make a better world.
Well, as we conclude our program today, one thing remains clear to me. Road safety is not solely the responsibility of government officials or organizations. It is a collective duty, and every one of us has a role to play. Always remember that behind every statistic is a real person, a family, and a community impacted by road crashes. I am Ernest Chicho, wishing you God's blessings in abundance. Goodbye.